What is up, everybody? It is your boy Pixelbane here, bringing you another Dominions 4 AI Battles match. This time, it is Ermor versus Marignon, and we're trying something different. So, if you've been watching the previous matches, you would have seen me be a disciple, and I thought that was the only way to spectate matches. But as it turns out, I emailed the people at Winter to see if they had any suggestions. And they told me that you can actually have comp turns be shown. So hopefully this works out. No one's on any teams, and so the rules are a little bit different here. We can look through the events of Ermor, which is one of our factions, and the events of Marignon, as well as look at the map. And we can actually see what's going on in the territories. So we can see that Ermor is actually reviving units, because that's part of their little gimmick. They can revive the undead. And if we hit exit, we can see the map from their perspective. So the only difference here is that now I'm not a disciple. I've also changed it so the map has more resources by the suggestion of the people at Winter, so that the forces of the AI can be larger, quicker, and they can make larger sweeping attacks and whatnot. So that's what we're hoping for here, at least. And we are able to see these units of the AI, and they are indeed AI controlled. So this should be really cool to see. I don't know if I can actually take control of them, which I might be able to, which is kind of crazy. But so Ermor's not doing a whole lot here, so we end Ermor's turn and we check for Marignon, and Marignon isn't doing anything. They are indeed computer controlled. Yes, they are. They decided not to do anything this first turn. So we end their turn. Hopefully this works. So this is where I'm located on the map, and the only change really is that if I'm taken out by neutrals, which I don't think can happen. If I'm taken out by neutrals, the person that has the highest amount of dominion on the score graph wins. But if I'm taken out by a nation, that nation wins. So there's like a separate win condition that can happen here. So we host, and we should have different events going. Yes, we do. Okay, so it looks like Evocation is the magic school that Ermor is pushed in here. And this will allow us to actually see two sides of the map here. I mean, it'll kind of increase the amount of time we have to watch because of the neutrals, but maybe mid-game, late-game, we don't actually watch the neutral battles so much as the battles between the two nations. But look at this. This is turn 2, and we already have a massive force by Ermor here. We have like undead horsemen here. We have two sensors. We have their like spy unit that can cast magic, which is kind of good. I believe this is their spy unit. Maybe it's their mage unit. But that was a completely one-sided battle, obviously. Ermor is incredibly strong here. And what we could do is we can actually look at the events here. The +1 magic doesn't do anything, and the unrest really doesn't do any negative for Ermor. But Ermor is at the northern end of the map, and once again we have one of these territories that can't be reached by RNG generation. Ermor will never get this, I don't think. Maybe if they get some flying commander, they might be able to do it, or use some teleport, but that's probably not going to happen with the AI of the computer. And Marignon is pushing out. And they're actually kind of close to Ermor here. Wait. What are you doing, Marignon? Is this a special event? I'm very confused. What the fuck? Oh, it's a seduce attack. Okay. Okay, so that is... I forgot about seduce things and bards and stuff like that. Marignon and some other factions can seduce enemy commanders to their forces, and as such, reduce the forces in the territory as well as bolstering their own. And it looks like... What are they recruiting every turn? They're recruiting their man-at-arms, which is a pretty solid unit. It's not obviously the strongest. The Flagellant is a sacred unit, which is really good, but they're very fragile, and I don't think they would necessarily want to go Flagellants with only a god that is max pretty much fire. So then it might not be the best. And actually, I don't even do the title cards anymore for these guys, because we can just look at the stats. Let's take a look at Belos the Baphomet here. He's got 5 fire and 1 astral magic. His Dominion is 3 peace, 3 production, 3 heat, which is not really good for Marignon here, but it's more of just a lore thing for Bolos because he's a floating firehead. 3 growth, 3 luck, and 3 drain. So another one of these factions that is incredibly production oriented. But the bonuses that he gives to his bless isn't that high, so I'm not too shocked to see them not going flagellants. And there we got the Knight of the Chalice, which is one of their strongest units, 100%. And let's just end the turn and see what they decide to do. Ermor is going ham. I'm not surprised here. Ermor is one of my #1 contenders to win this, just because of their growth potential. And that's why I decided to do something a little different and make the map have increased resources and gold by 50%. Not only does it make it so that we should have larger matches, but I think at the same time it helps balance out Ermor. Ermor can't benefit from the increased gold or the resource gain at all. So it might be, maybe it puts Ermor at a lower seed here, or they're less likely to win because of this. They are indeed, because they don't get any of the benefits while their opponents do for the most part. But at the same time, I think it balances them out. Maybe they're still overpowered, maybe they're not, but I don't think I'm gonna go much higher than 150. If 150 might be too much, if Marignon just completely steamrolls Ermor, I'm not gonna rerun the match here. But in future, I think I'm just gonna make it 125 or something. But they have a lot of commanders already at this point in the game, which is nice to see. The horsemen are actually really good units for Ermor here. Like, surprisingly resilient. I mean, sure, these are like malicious swordsmen. Excuse me, I needed to get some tea. Gotta get that tea in me because I feel like I'm dehydrated. I know I've been complaining about the heat in Arizona, but I am. It is hot to say the least. All right, decent size. I think Ermor should easily be able to take this. Once again, like the Legion troops of Ermor, even when they're undead and not just like their human version of like the early age Ermor, they're still really good. Those javelins, you really can't undervalue them. Like, I mean, you can't like, they're just so good. So good. Like, even if they take out 1 unit, that is just a free death for that like push, and hurts the enemy's morale. Ill Omen, once again, these are not really useful. The curse might come into play. 3 units have been cursed, so it seems like a curse is flowing around. And Ermor, at the beginning of summer, has 4 territories out here. They are actually pushing down towards me. I think my home territory is here. So this could be a rather quick match just by the RNG map generation, and just in case, I've already set up the next match to some degree. I will have to switch around the sprites. Oh, they got a mercenary, so that's good for them because they haven't been pushing out. Oh my gosh, what is Marignon doing here? They are potatoing incredibly hard. They're trying to get units. What is going on? How many units do they have? They should have more than this, don't you think? I would have thought so. I am very confused. Like, they're not actually pushing out into these territories whatsoever. I can't see any of the units around here. Maybe I should check that on Ermor next turn. But I can't see any of the units here. Is this like an issue that Baphomet or like if Marignon has, or is this because it's a computer? All right, let's see. Nothing really going on here. Killing some brigands. There's actually having province patrol here, which is actually surprising. Despite having like only 4 people on defense, they were able to call out or find these brigands in their own territory. That's kind of surprising, but they haven't moved out. So this is Marignon's turn to push out. They need at least 3 territories. This is not a good sign. Like, we get in these 1 battles. Are they actually attacking here? Like, they bought a mercenary group. What are they doing? I'm incredibly confused. Like, these attacks are not the attacks I would have assumed. Like, I value this match. I thought this match was going to be the greatest one, and it might be. But what are they doing? Like, maybe they just got screwed. What? They won? How did they win? Hold up. What? How did they win? I thought they broke instantaneously. They only have 2 units. We're getting these glitches again. We're getting these glitches in the Matrix. Whoa, never mind. They actually did rout. That's what I get for making assumptions. They were actually able to take it with 2 units, a commander and then some random priest. So they got 1 territory. It's a shame we can't see the independence here. Maybe it's because the reason why Marignon's suffering here is that we have really large enemy forces right here. That's another one of these potential problems with this game mode, which is part of how it's set up to be. You can't, it's completely random, so you don't know if you're gonna get screwed on your spawns, and I think that is what, well, they lost one of their mercenary groups. But that's the part of the appeal, I think, of this, is that some of the higher tier factions can lose out because they get a bad spawn, while some of the underperforming ones can get a boost up because they got a really righteous spawn. And it really shows that they had to use their mercenary aquatic group to move into the water. If the water was their best attack with like 2 mercenary forces, that is not a good sign for Marignon. But this should be a very easy attack for them with this mercenary force of, I actually don't know what they're called. They're not shamblers. They're like they're not mermen either. But hey, at least they have 2 territories. This should be helping out with their gold income. They have a fudge ton of fucking income. I mean, like money in their treasury. The only issue they're coming across here is their resources. Like, they're not getting enough per turn because they don't have enough territories. Ermor is finally making their second move, or third move out. Their first, they took 1 territory, then they took 3. So this is their third move out into neutral territories. And they're just going to get more and more of these undead horsemen. And sure, they can be banished, and I think that's where Marignon's like counter to Ermor comes in here. It comes in at the mid to late game when Marignon has, I don't know, maybe like 5 to 10 different level 3 priest units or sacred units or whatever to use level 3 banishment, which is a really wide area, and it's like does a crud ton of damage to undead, like outright killing them for the most part. So, but this early game, these horses really wreck shit. They hit like trucks. They're relatively strong and defensive, and they're completely 100% free. I mean, nothing's truly free in the sense of economics. Like, time has to be spent to get these horsemen, time or luck. You have to either devote the sacred units that you have to summon them specifically, or you have to get lucky. And since we're looking at gods, let us look at Osiris's stats here. He should have, I had to remake the god, so I believe he should have 10 death magic, not 9, but I guess I nerfed him a little bit. He's got 10 fire, 9 death. Other than that, he gets a reanimation bonus, which kind of really does synergize with the undeath thing. They have to be through, the second value, if I believe, is through magic spells. So he has to be actually researching conjuration to get these for the most part, but it doesn't seem like they're going down that route just yet. And as you can see, their Dominion is very, very bad if it was any other nation, but it doesn't affect Ermor at all. Production, I mean, I guess maybe growth could help because it allows you to get more corpses over time because you're actually growing and whatnot, because the Dominion itself causes death. So maybe this is a little bit of a nerf to them, but then the unrest causes more people to die, which causes more corpses, and then same thing with the cold province stuff. But as you can see, a lot of their units have chill or they're cold resistant, so it doesn't even really matter. Alright, so yeah, this is definitely taking a little bit longer generally because we have to go through 2 sets of units turns. And I'm taking my time just a little bit. This is a very strange attack by Marignon, but it seems like this is one of the forces that they were afraid to assault earlier on. And I can see why. These horsemen are a little bit out of tier for this. I'm surprised they went after that attack. This is the one right outside the borders of Marignon. Looks like they're finally be putting their man-at-arms to use. What are these? Foul spawn. Are these mercenaries or... I'm not familiar with foul spawn. But I think they definitely have enough units and magic and what have you to take this. I feel like they probably could have taken it a little bit earlier. Because they did indeed kill one of the enemy commanders. It was that druid commander. It was a failed persuasion attempt. But they did kill it. And they're actually going through the water. So is this the turning point that we were hoping for Marignon? I think so. I think this is what they needed. Ermor's kind of stalling right now. They need to rely on getting more undead units. But at the same time, Ermor is in a good spot with their expansions to potentially take me out of the race and thus win. I mean, I'm not in the race to begin with, but if they take me out, they win. And this is actually, Marignon is actually the first one to come into borders with me. Though I'm not too sure that they will make that assault. So I have to thank the people at Illwinter for getting back to my email so quickly. That's why I haven't been streaming the last 2 days. I sent the email out and I wanted to see if there was a way to do it so that I didn't have to like pretend myself to someone, because it didn't feel, I don't know, balanced at all, giving one faction that much of an advantage and having to manage like, oh, neutrals are attacking me. What do I need to do here? And all of these unnecessary things that take away from the main focus, which is AI versus AI. And so that's what we have right now. So actually, okay, I didn't realize there was a lake here. So Ermor decided to go to the lake, and I guess Ermor has found me first. Or I think they found me on the same turn. I think the Marignon turn went here at the same time Ermor moved out as well. So this is a very scary situation to be in, or for me if I was actually playing. I have 2 enemies on my flanks. A decent-sized Ermor army. Ermor is building up. They need to get more and more provinces, though. They need to get that advantage because they only get the undead when you have the province under your control and you have the dominion. I mean, I guess you do get... I think you get the undead when it's not your dominion, but your dominion itself kills the population off, which reanimates. So it helps out a lot, especially when you start to get it. When you first get a province, and it has like 10,000 plus people in it, you want your dominion there as well to help out with killing off people. And I think that's all the water territories taken, I believe. Yeah, the shipwreckers have left them. Unexpected event, nature gems, not really that important. Nope, there's still 1 province here. I think they should rehire the shipwreckers in either one of these territories or one of these 3 territories to take this this final water territory out. This will give the outer sea completely over to Marignon, and they have basically access to anywhere on the map at this point. If they do indeed take this, they could push out anywhere onto this land and then push towards the center, effectively taking me out potentially or choking Ermor out. All right, what is Ermor doing? Good, continuing to get some neutral zones here. Man, they're actually having patrolling units. There's like 4 to 10 patrolling units in defense. They were able to like kill these neutrals. The enemy has banishment and has knights. Though I think it's over at this point, because these horsemen are gonna kill out the commanders. Yep. You can't undervalue, like, you have to like highly value undead horsemen. They're just so good. At this point in the game, most nations struggle to put out maybe 1 or 2 horsemen a turn. Where undead, where Ermor and really only Ermor can like push out if they're lucky, or if they put a lot of sacred units on summoning long dead horsemen, they can put out crazy numbers. Like, it obviously depends on how many territories you have and your luck in general, but damn, dude, like this early game they can push incredibly hard. The reason why cavalry is so good in this game, because if the AI decides to, if it puts them on to attack rear or attack archers, most of the time enemy commanders are in that back line. Most of the time they don't move up with their enemy or with their own troops, because if they die, their entire unit breaks. As such, if you have units that attack the back, oh, we got a free unit. So if you have units that attack the back, well, there's a chance if they clear out whatever they're attacking, whether it be archers or whatnot, well, they can go and kill the commander and instantly win the round. So there's that. Unexpected event. It looks like neutrals are attacking Ermor at some point in the next match, or as an assassination attempt. Not too sure. We'll find out. But yeah, these are the lower tier undead horsemen, the less armored version. These are the long dead horsemen. These are the ones you can summon using the sacred units. A little bit weaker. However, I feel like they're still quite formidable. But not against the shields of these long dead right here. These long dead legionnaires are incredibly strong. Units have been cursed. Sneaking enemy has been found. Man, Ermor is really on it. Despite having 3 unrest, they're able to be. They keep finding these troops before they amass into larger ones. I hate to say it, but I feel like Ermor might straight up just win this. They're hiring the shipwreckers. They're preventing their territories from being taken. They're almost completely surrounding me. I feel like Ermor really might just like have this at this point. I don't know if Marignon can come back at this point. They got stalled so early on, it stifled their economy. But always keep in mind, I did change it so that all resources and gold gain are amplified by 150%. Or by 50% rather. They're at 150%. And as such, Ermor doesn't get that benefit at all. So Marignon can play a little bit sloppy and still come out on top. But this is not what we want to see. If you're a Marignon fan, this is exactly what you do not want to see. Making really sloppy attacks, losing out on whatever army that you have, and not even taking a territory with very few enemy units in it. Though we are starting to amass a decent sacred priest army unit here. As I said, a lot of the units of Marignon do have sacred magic. So this is a priest level 4. Insane spells that priest level 4 puts out. Priest level 1 is alright. Priest level 1. Then we have a priest level 1 as well down here. So that's like 3 banishments per turn. And I feel like we might have them move out either into this territory to try again or this territory down here. Marignon's already building a church here. They can't build anything here yet. They just recruited a commander here, so they could indeed build a church down here with these shambler units. But let's stop blabbing and see what they do before we make some dumb comments. Ermor is actually pushing towards Marignon, so this could be pretty good. We got the shipwreckers kind of heading towards Marignon to betray their first masters, it would seem. So it really just comes down to if Marignon can abuse the extra resource gain. It's only abusing it because of Ermor's inability to get a benefit from it. If they can abuse it to make an incredibly strong front line and put churches in every one of their provinces, they might just still win with the 450 Dominion. Because remember, that is the main win condition. Each territory can have anywhere between 10 to like 20 or 11 to 20 points for it. There's 30 territories because it's 10 per player on a small map, and there's 3 players. So it's very possible that Marignon can just win if they just put a decent fight and just build churches everywhere. They just have to stem the tide of the undead advances of Ermor. And if I could pick any faction to do that, it would be Marignon, and then I guess I would also pick Abyssia. So our next match is actually Abyssia versus Pangea, And the winner of that will go against the winner of this match. I actually do not recall if we watched this one. I think we just did. Yeah, we did. All right, let's take a look at the map. Ermor has almost complete dominance at this point, which is very scary to see with a faction that benefits from basically doing nothing in their own territories. Like, we have so many units here. And there's a lot of population left on some of these territories to benefit from the undead. And Marignon can't just like sit in these underwater territories and assume they're going to be fine. Every single one of the units, maybe barring a few, I don't know. Let's check some of the lower tier, like zombies and whatnot. No, soulless are indeed. Okay, so the ghouls are not. So the ghouls are the only ones, and then maybe the horsemen as well aren't poor amphibians. But most of the units from Ermor can indeed just go into the water. What the heck? What is with Marignon's luck? Dude, they keep getting additional units. And they just bought another mercenary group. I think this is their push out because they have so much gold in their coffers. They should be buying units and mercenaries in every one of their territories. Like, they have the benefit of the resource bonus. I almost said it like bonus. Like I was like some like really knockoff Canadian. That was a lot of arrows going off at the same time, or rather bolts. I love how the audio can distort when a bunch of sound effects happen at the exact same time. And it looks like this is like the final territory that's surrounding my home base, being attacked by shamblers of Marignon. Now I'm curious though, will a faction go after my my keep? It's I don't know. I think it's actually unlikely at this point in the game because it's a keep and it's like my only territory, and I'm not actually pushing out like my dominion really at all. Actually, there's still one territory that needs to be taken, and I think these shamblers might take it. I can't tell what's there. I could tell if I decided to go to my actual player, but I'm not going to do that. And we have our first conflict, and it looks like it's in the Cursed Lands, which is the territory right here. So it looks like the shipwreckers are probably most definitely 100% taking this territory because Marignon makes a counterattack onto it. Judging by the forces here and the general strength of these war shamblers, I don't know. I think this is the larger force. No, this is the mercenary black like riders force. Well, we're gonna pit mercenary against mercenary and see who comes out on top. I'm gonna give it to the armored knights, mainly because they're armored knights. No, as I said, take whatever I say. Just think the opposite, and that's gonna be what happens. The knights lost literally one unit, and that was enough to break them. Oh, that's disappointing. One unit, and that broke them. While they killed, like, I don't know, 40% of the shamblers. So Ermor hold the territory. And without a doubt, they are going to continue on taking every one of the neutral provinces. Though, we have another event happening here with the independents attacking. Glanis. Yeah, these barbarians are incredibly strong. They get into melee. Oh god. Oh man. Oh Jesus. The independents are taking it. Barbarians might be super weak in the defensive area, being killed by most any like missile weapon like in one hit, but they hit like trucks. They hit like trucks. Alright, so Cursed Land we don't need to look at because we already have watched it. Hopefully, Marignon takes both of these provinces. We're going to attack Shambalak again. This time, very strange force. We have 4 knights. They're not the Chalice Knights. They are the Chalice Knights. Never mind. For some reason, my brain was thinking the Chalice Knights of Marignon were the orange ones. These are their top tier unit right here, so they should take this no problem. They don't get really much any benefit from blessing other than morale. They get the 2 tack skill from the fire level 5, but it's not a whole lot. If I were to create another god for Marignon, as I'm thinking that I might do for some of the factions in Season 2, I'm not going to change the spreadsheets up. I will just change the current god. So if you look at the odds one, the second sheet of the odds spreadsheet, you will see it says current god. So that's the part that will change, and then I'll add an additional row to the stats one. And if you look at my pivot tables, there's a plus sign next to each nation, so you can actually go to a nation and see the stats for a specific god. So I think that will work out. And I think what I'm going to do for Marignon next season, depending on if they win or not, if they don't win the tournament, then I will definitely give them a little bit stronger god. I will probably give them a ridiculously powerful sacred god that is imprisoned. And with that, they won't get the Dominion spread early game, but their flagellants should be incredibly strong. So maybe giving them something like regeneration, and then undying, or blood magic if available. We'll see. Enough talking about the future. We're gonna watch Ermor maybe lose against these barbarians. Okay, they've routed them. As I said, those javelins, any missile weapon pretty much is an instant kill on a barbarian. But pretty much most like early game units is an instant. Man, they really value the shipwreckers. The shipwreckers keep going from Ermor to Marignon to Ermor to Marignon, back and forth. And I'm surprised I haven't been assaulted yet. Though, as I said, this is very dangerous. Like the amount of forces that Ermor is fielding right here, they could easily take me out. And as I said, I can't make any choices here. And both factions seem to want to be going to evocation here. And it looks like Marignon is actually going to be taking this last neutral territory by me. Or I assume. Is this? Yeah, okay, so this is the other mercenary faction of swordsmen against some jaguar warriors. So I'm not too sure about this. The stone throw the jaguar warriors get is not really comparable to the javelins. And as you can see, it wasn't. I mean, I guess it was strong enough to rout them, but as you can, it didn't do enough damage to like hold them back. Like the independents almost completely lost that entire engagement. Marignon's going for Lightport, the city province. Bunch of knights. We have some man-at-arms. That has quite a few Chalice Knights. As you can see, like that knight hit the Chalice Knight for 5 and got counter hit basically for 10. It just shows the raw power of these units. And even with that, he still has 8 hit points left. So even if he was hit for 10, he would have still survived because he took an additional 1 point of damage from some missile weapon. They're just so good. Just so good. Yeah, of course, the shipwreckers because they bought him out. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm undervaluing Marignon here. We all know the strength of Ermor, and sure, they have all of these territories, but Marignon is no slouch. They have quite a few number of territories, and they're getting that bonus. The only issue is that they can't really build any of their stronger units until they get up forts, so they should really be having their units set to be building forts or churches or things, but they're not. They're just pretty much all on defend here. And it looks like this is where the shipwreckers are located, and they're probably going to push out with the shipwreckers next turn. Ermor is being attacked by Marignon again. It looks like Marignon is just the aggressor in this situation. Ermor just wants to relax and just take away the neutrals and just have a chill time, and Marignon is having no chill. And it's being a vulture nation. I mean, Marignon weakening all these Jaguar warriors, and Ermor is just coming in to mop up. Though it could have easily taken the original force out with this many undead units. Also, a weird spot to have one of your sensors right there. Its chill aura was freezing the ghouls. which is very weird. This was originally an attack that I would have given to Marignon against these independents, but I don't think they're taking this. There's 2 lictors in the front lines, and then they have to go through the zombies, and then, I don't know, actually, these war shamblers are doing work, but they're taking so much damage. Marignon's making these bad calls here. I mean, they had no idea of knowing that Ermor was gonna take that province from them, but that was a bad assault, just to begin with. Like, they should be more concerned with this front than trying to push out from the other flank. Or just take this underwater territory. Alright, we don't need to see that because we already have seen it. And they keep buying mercenaries, which is good for them, but they need to actually be buying units. They need to be getting units out here, and they need to be pushing, and it looks like they might maybe do it next turn. They split their units up again, and they move some back to research. They're buying Ichthyeids, which I've talked about before, are really strong. Oh, I guess they decided not to have Osiris. I'm very confused. Why did they take them off for research? I mean, sensors are really good, don't get me wrong, they're commanding units. But I don't think they need commanding units at this point. They have huge armies to begin with. I don't think they need another commanding unit, but that's what they decided to do. Like, look how many units they have fielded. They could easily take out Marignon at any point if they just moved one of these in. I mean, they might not win. And it looks like actually we got spoiled on it. It looks like Marignon takes this territory, which is good for them. They're doing the flank thing. Like, I have my doubts of it really working because Ermor has most of its troops still around its capital. So I don't think this is going to be very successful, especially since the amount of casualties their shamblers are taking. And they're like normal militia dudes. But maybe they can successfully pull off a pincer attack. Maybe this will get Ermor's attention. They'll move some of their troops back, and then Marignon will start pushing in here. We can really only hope. I have no idea what they're doing. Maybe they're gonna try to go south way. Like, these units aren't doing anything. They're not building, or maybe we just can't see if we're observing a computer. But we can see if they're researching, so they're not building anything. I feel like they should be building more cathedrals, more forts, so they can get higher tier units. But what do I know? I'm not a medium AI. Ermor is stagnating this turn, or rather maybe just gathering their forces up. That is a lot of units. See what Marignon's up to. Marignon is stagnating as well. Finally building a castle. They're preaching out their domain. Which really, I guess it, I mean, it stops the undeath a little bit if they can get their domain out. That's why Marignon is so good. Like, they have so many preacher units. They can building another castle, and they're not building anything over here. They can build like another castle here. Like they have the treasury. They have 2,000 income. They have the resources to build one. Worldwide event, 1+ luck. That doesn't help Marignon really out at all too much, except on the territories without max dominion. I'm not sure how much it does for the undead legions of Ermor here. I don't know how much luck really plays for them. And we lost the brave men. This is a relatively large force. Inquisitor is a nice effect that I want to talk about. It actually increases the ability to go against other faiths. So this is why I value them so high. They can easily start taking enemy dominion out with Inquisitors. They just need to push in, and they definitely have the units. Let's look at this. That is a lot of man-at-arms. Oh man, 10 Knights of the Chalice. They're starting to do Flagellants, which is, I would say, not really the best choice for them. They don't get any buffs. They're incredibly weak. They can die in like 1 or 2 hits because they have no armor. And the sacred buffs Ermor is completely stagnating. Like, they gathered their forces up, and then they split them up immediately again. I mean, I guess they might be eyeing Lightport, which they should be able to take without any problem. Found a magic site. Oh, what are you doing? What is the AI doing? That is my question to everyone. If you know, please leave a comment down below. If you can understand what Marignon is thinking here. Why not take this fight? I guess we're looking at Marignon's turn first because I misclicked. I gotta get some tea. They're finally doing it. All the water provinces have been taken. I'm assuming they take this because they have a lot of shamblers. Ah, delicious tea. Shamblers are cool. Basically underwater trolls. They're not sea trolls because sea trolls are their own thing, but they do have regeneration abilities to some degree. As you see the plus. Actually, no, they don't. Never mind. That's actually poison damage. I am dumb. Only sea trolls have the regeneration. I saw the green and I instantly assumed. Which is not what you need to do. And they are indeed building a castle out here. Which is actually a really good defensive move because the only way that you can get to this province is through the water, or they take this territory. And I was actually concerned because I saw Ermor's forces here, the really large force. I was concerned that they could easily come to my territory, but they can't in one turn. Alright, what is Ermor doing? They got a free unit. That's good for them. And they actually are amassing on my border. This could be the end. This could be the end. I was debating on whether or not I could put, like, increase the amount of troops defending on my, like, defense bonus. If you, like, look here, like, the defense increases the amount of militia there. But that's too much. I can't do that. And the AI seems to have hard times making calls. Like, they very rarely decide to attack the last province of a nation, especially if it's a nation that doesn't have things that they covet. In a way, like Ermor has a lot of territories, and Marignon has a lot of territories, so they want to take each other out that way. Since I'm basically in last place, I'm pretty sure the AI just like sees me as a non-threat. And they finished the castle somewhere, so they finished this castle. But we have a stalemate rather, going on here. And this is not the position that Marignon wants to be in. They don't want to be in a stalemate against Ermor. Like, they don't want to just turtle up at this point. And it really seems that Marignon got the defensive AI set. They could easily win this because of their Inquisitors. They could easily win because of the resource bonus. But both factions are just holding out, and every single turn, Ermor is getting more value than Marignon. Every single turn. But it looks like since this castle is done, and they have this huge force. We have an Inquisitor with a Bax army. We have a Witch Hunter, which also has Inquisitor, like, and Inspirational. Marignon should be on the offensive, and indeed they are. We are finally seeing another attack after so long. And it's an assassination attempt that failed. Oh, God, Marignon. I thought you were going to be going. I thought we would have a big boss battle. But no, we got a failed assassination attempt. You do realize they're undead, right? You do want to realize that poison doesn't really work on them. But no. I mean, it wasn't an assassination attempt. It probably was just a spy. Excuse me. It was probably just a spy that eventually got caught because of the large force, and I didn't actually want to watch it again. I just saw a battle and immediately started doing it. You have the numbers. You could wipe them out. You have so many high-level priests. And that is... Whoa, geez, look at that force. 161. I mean, it's got a lot of just neutral trash here, but damn, and look at them, Ichthyeids and Shamblers. It's actually interesting to see what the AI sets things. Like, they actually do set their their cavalry units to attack rear, and they don't set any battle orders for like normal units like archers or just straight up like infantry. But then they actually put orders to stay behind troops. It's really crazy. I have to thank the people at Illwinter for getting back to me so soon. I didn't expect them to get back to me. But it was like almost immediate. It was like one day, and I was like, boom. Just add this command line of comp turn, and then you'll be able to see the computer's turns every turn. And once again, we have the power of Icthiids holding out here. No way these wolves even scratch them. They're just so strong. Like, they're not even the Icthiid warriors, but it's normal Icthiids. They're just really strong. And look at, like, obviously they're getting these patrolling troop bonuses because they have large standing armies in every single one of their territories. But come on, why aren't they attacking? It doesn't make any sense to me. While neither faction is going here. I mean, I guess maybe I give the long game to Marignon here because of their Inquisitors, but they need to at least push out just a little bit more. Like, they don't even necessarily need to get these territories. If they push out into these territories, and then here, and then hold this middle line, I think they just straight up win. Because Ermor seems to be on this, like, really defensive, like, strategy, where they're not doing anything until, like, they have like an army of like 800 troops, and they have to move these troops because there's a starving thing. The troops are starving because there's too many people in one province. There's not enough supplies. Like, look at this, 469 per turn, and there's only 300 left. So they need to move their troops out of there. There should be an attack. No, there's only a sneaking enemy attack. Ermor is not doing anything there. They moved some of their troops out. This is strange. They must both have the defensive AI personality. Oh, and this might be the end. Okay, this is the end. I got spoiled. This is the end. We have a winner. This is why I like this non-disciple thing. Ermor finally got their courage to pull through and attack my keep. They finally did it. Oh, my goodness gracious. So Ermor takes it. I was spoiled by the message log, but Ermor takes it. It's not an upset. We're gonna look at the score graphs, but I'm gonna guess 3 times, maybe 2 times the amount of troops. If it's only 2 times the amount of troops, I feel like the resource gain by 50%, I think, is a fair number. Ermor still won. But at the same time, Marignon kind of potatoed, and that's the whole thing about this series, that you gotta love the potatoes of the AI. But they were able to do it. They decided enough's enough, no more stalling on this front line. We're gonna freaking end it right now. They routed me. And somehow my god decided to field there. I guess because it was on defense. That's very strange though. Like, I guess my god was on the field. Or wasn't, maybe my god was dormant or something. I don't know. But it's only neutrals now. So we do have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. The faction moving on with our favorite faction of Ermor. Woo! Osiris is moving on. Now, Osiris is either going to be fighting Abyssia or Pangaea, depending on who wins the next match. And I am going to go try to set that up right now. So I'm going to mute myself, and hopefully we can get the next match started.